Good morning. So in this video I'd like to discuss a couple advanced user mode functions that are pertinent to the setup. So there's a couple things we can do in this setup that aren't obvious, not easy to do on the screen, or the labels actually aren't here. So one of them is to change the names of your classes. So right now we have under, 13, 12 and a half, 12, or add or remove classes. And to add or remove sort measures up at top, or to change the names of the sort measures, as well as the drops. You can change the names of the drops as well. One thing I would like to do is change drop 3 so it actually says OTE. That's what I usually put for off the end. And right now my machine says drop 3, which is confusing. So what we'll do, first we have to go to user mode. Click that button, user mode, and type in Ryan, R-Y-A-N. And there's all our buttons. We hide them normally just to limit confusion, because in a normal day-to-day operation you don't need those buttons. But if you're changing a setup or rebuilding a setup, a lot of times you need it. Alright, so what I would do to change that label drop 3, I'd just go into drop settings, select drop 3, and give it a new name. I'm going to call it OTE. And I'll say rename. And guess what? Hey, it says OTE. It works. It doesn't change it up here, just for reference. It won't change it in this box until you reboot the program. But it will change it on the screen here. Alright, and another thing, a couple other things you can do in class. So these are the 3 buttons here. You got class settings, measure settings, drop settings. This is where you change your labels. Class settings. This little window allows you to select the class. You actually select the button that you want to change. These are classes, and obviously it comes up with the name class. It doesn't match what you're selected on, and that would be something we could probably change in the future. But say I want to change 12 to 12. I don't know. Let's give it a name, 12 happy. Then you just say rename class. And look, it says 12 happy. Yeah, so you got happy cherries in that drop. Anyway, in that class. And then to change it back, you just say rename, get rid of it and say rename class. Oops. I just changed that one because it defaults back to that one. Okay. Well, let's change that back to what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be under. And then we have to select this one again and say 12. Alright, so we just renamed it back to where it was. And that's something I forget too, that every time you hit rename, it toggles back to the default button at the very top. So anyway, that's how you do that one. You can also delete classes here. So if you select a class that you want to get rid of and say delete selected class, it will go away. And you can insert new classes if you need to add a class before or after. And remember, whatever the label is here, when you hit insert new class, that will be the label that it's going to be. Right now, if I put one in, it would be 12. And we can go ahead and do that. I'll just hit the button insert class after. So it's going to come up right after 8. Well, we call it 7.2, and it's in line. Oops. 7.2. Insert new class after selection. And see, look, it just came in between 8 and 7.5. There's a 7.2. Alright. That's actually the wrong order, isn't it? It should be, anyway. I guess it is. Right order. And now if we want to get rid of that, we just say, click on it again and say delete selected class. And away it goes. So that's adding, removing classes, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And then measure settings and drop settings are the other two. And drop settings we went over, how to change, that's measure settings. Measure settings aren't quite as simple. When you add or remove, you can only remove the last one. You can see remove last measure, but you can change the name of any of them. So if I wanted to change color for, I'm not actually changing the name. These are sort methods that are in the hardware or in the software available to use. So we only used certain sort methods on certain pieces of fruit, certain varieties, based on whether you're doing cherries, apples, peaches, or whatever. So it's important to know if you're going to make changes here, what these all do. And usually that gets into some advanced functions that we don't really want to go over right now. But normally what's programmed up here is what you're going to be using. But if you wanted to change the label of it, you can change the property name alias. Color 4, we're using for brown right now, so it'd be really nice just to call it brown, and then that changes. Then we can say change property name alias. And that just makes it easier for us when we're assigning the drops and things to know what we're doing. Same with maturity 2. Right now we're using it for softness. So it'd be a lot easier if it was called soft, right? And then we change property name alias. And you notice they're not changing right now. Okay, good to note, because we'll go ahead and save. And what it will do the next time so if we shut down the grader and then start the program again, let's go ahead and do that. Open it again. I'll go back in here and load it. And now their labels are changed. So it says soft and brown. Those are the things we just changed. So that is how you change the labels or add or remove classes or any of that. Thank you.